Hi guys, good morning. Hope everyone's ready to start learning how to draw some letters using 1-point perspective. So if you guys are ready, this is what we're going to be learning how to draw today. You're going to need some paper, a ruler, and a pencil. If you guys are using a regular pencil, which will be totally fine, you need to keep a sharpener nearby because you're going to have to sharpen this a few times if you want the lines to stay nice and crisp. Otherwise, if you have a mechanical pencil, that works really well. So this is my test of actually trying to do a demo video, I guess, live. Both John and Gia have done theirs, so now it's my turn. So if any point during this lesson, if you guys are confused or have a question, you guys can certainly ask a question and I will try to answer it the best I can. Otherwise, I'm just going to start doing this video and you guys can follow along. All right, so I have my paper set up. I'm going to have you guys turn your paper what's called landscape. So this orientation is called landscape. If you turn it this direction, it's called portrait. So we want to make sure all your guys' paper is turned towards the landscape orientation. Okay, so depending on whether or not you have followed my other last two videos on 1-point perspective, first couple steps will seem familiar to you. If you haven't done it before, you really need to pay attention to this part. So to start off with 1-point perspective, you always need to start with what they call a horizon line. You can do a horizon line either at the top, the middle, or the bottom of your paper. For this project, you're going to do the horizon line towards the bottom of your paper. So hold your ruler nice and straight and firm and draw a straight line. After you have your straight line, you need what's called a vanishing point. The vanishing point will be right about in the middle of the horizon line. Next is I'm actually going to draw out an area to put my block letters into. So I'm going to put my block letters towards the top of my paper. My first line is going to be right towards the top. My second line is I'm trying to make like a little a long rectangle to keep my letters in so they're all the same size and on the same plane. So where I draw my second line doesn't really matter. It's kind of based on how big you want your letters to be. The only thing I would say is don't put your line all the way towards the bottom where the horizon line is, because then you'll have no room to show the perspective. So with that, just keep that in mind. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter where you put the line. I'm going to put mine right about there. Okay. So now I have this very long rectangle at the top of my paper. This is where my letters are going to go. So I'm going to be drawing very blocky letters, which I think is very ironic that the word we are spelling is block. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my ruler to do this. You can do this freehand. You don't have to use the ruler. I just like it to be a little bit cleaner and more exact. I'm going to start pretty far over towards the left to give myself room. I'm going to draw my first line. And I'm actually going to give myself like a rectangle to keep my B inside. Now, following that top line, I'm going to angle it down, leave myself a little triangle, and then down again, and then in. I'm going to try to mimic the same thing on the bottom. Okay. Now I need my opening. Okay. So I've just drawn my B, so I'm going to get rid of my extra lines. Okay, Now on to the L. Give myself a little bit of room from the B. If you smush the letters too close to each other, it's hard to see the perspective, so make sure you don't push them too close together. Okay, there's my L. The easiest letter to do. Okay, now for the O. So I'm actually going to give myself a little box like I did with the B for the O's. Well, the O and the C, I should say. So I want my O to be about that big. I have to make sure I have enough room for my C and my K. Okay, so to keep doing with the blocky technique, I'm going to stay straight at the very top in the middle, and then I'm going to angle down on both sides. So I'm leaving myself a little triangle on both corners. Then to do the O, it's straight, 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 and then I'm going to copy the same thing I did up here down at the bottom. So straight. Okay, so there's the outside of my O. Now the inside is just going to be a very long rectangle. Okay. Now the C is going to start off exactly the same as the O. I'm going to draw my box. Make the little triangles on the side. The reason I had you guys start off with doing blocky letters is it's much easier to do the perspective using the blocky version of the letters versus the round version of the letters. You can totally do round at some point, but I think when you start out, this is much easier to do. And when this video is done, I will be linking in the comment section a bunch of the whole alphabet done in blocky letters, because what I want you to do after we do this is I actually want you guys to practice your name using the blocky letter technique. Okay, so I've made the same, actually I made an O, but now I have to make a cutout so it looks like a C. So I'm going to come down here on the top, and I'm going to make a cut in right here. And I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom. Make a cut in. So then I'm going to get rid of this line. And now I have a C. Last letter is going to be our K. It's kind of a toss-up between the B and the K, which one's harder to do. Okay. I'm trying to make both of his legs, the top and the bottom and the side, be about the same width. You don't have to, but that's what I'm trying to do. Okay. Okay. So what I've been talking about in other videos with drawing, but in particular with perspective drawing, you need to do a lot of very light lines because you're going to have a lot of erasing to do. And if you draw too hard, it's just very difficult to erase any extra lines. So I erased quite a few inside my letters, but because I drew them so light, it was very easy to do. All right, we're moving on to drawing a bazillion little lines to create our perspective. So I'm going to do little dots on these letters so you can see exactly where the point of perspective is going to be. You can put the dots in like I am or not, but I'm just doing it so it's very easy for you to see. So when we did all the boxes, when I was telling you guys to do the perspective is every point, every edge is what you do for your perspective. So what I mean by that is we're going to start with just the bottom and then we'll go towards the middle and the top. So the bottom, is here's a point, a point, a point. These are all points or edges. Each of these edges has to be done in perspective. Okay, so now taking my ruler, I will align it with the dot on the B and the dot of my vanishing point. Each one of these dots has to go back to this vanishing point. Hold your ruler firm and start drawing your lines. Now do them lightly because you're going to have to erase a lot of these. Okay, so I've just done the whole bottom section of the letters, and I want you guys to take a look at something. Do you see how it makes it look like we're kind of looking up towards the letters? If you want to do this again on your own time after we're done with this project, you could always draw this horizon line that we did on the bottom at the top. And if you did the horizon line at the top and your letters at the bottom, it's going to make it look like you're looking down on your letters. So it's something kind of fun to do is you can try this different ways. You can do them at the top or you can do them at the bottom. It's just going to change how it looks. Okay, so we're about halfway done. So now we got to start working on the middle and the top. So when I was talking about in the other videos with the squares, sometimes you're not entirely clear which line you actually are going to see perspective on. And what I mean by is like, see this corner here? This is a corner, but if I line my ruler up, it's in the back. I'm not going to see it, so it's not really important. I won't see this one either, but I will see this corner. So if I line my ruler up, do you see how it will make a line inside? So here's my line inside. Okay, so here's a corner here. Here is a corner, but you're not going to see anything. And here's a corner, and I don't think I'll see anything either. Nope, goes straight down, so I'm not going to see anything. I won't see anything here, or here, or here, or here, but I will see something here. Okay, so that was all the middle ones. So now we're going to do all the top ones. So same thing, I'm not going to see these, but I will see the top of this B. And I didn't go all the way down because I'm imagining like all what's happening in here is going to happen inside. So there's no point in me drawing the line all the way down. I just kept it inside of the B. I'm not going to see the outside of the L, but I think I might see this inside of the L. Yep. See a line in there. I think I'm going to see a teeny tiny bit in this O. It's going to be skinny, but it's there. See the outside of the C. Now I can't see this corner of the inside of the C, but I can see this one, and this one. Okay, and I don't think there's any more that I'm gonna see. So I think I just did now all of the points that I could see and done them in perspective. So if you're still following along with what I'm doing, now we have to create the depth, how deep I want my letters to be. And if you guys did the other perspective boxes with me, remember I talked about you first create the perspective. Oh, looks like I have to pause just a minute. Sorry, my mom is watching the comments because I can't see the comments with when I'm videoing.
So they can catch up.
Oh, okay. People are catching up. All right. I will wait. Like I said, I will be posting the alphabets and the blocky letters because I also want you guys to try doing your name. And I also want you to try your name or the blocky letters like we just did right now, either on the bottom or the top, so you can get different points of perspective of that. And let me know if you guys have any questions, if something was confusing that I can go over again. All right, so hopefully you guys are caught up now. We're going to do the depth. So if you guys were following the last few videos on the perspective, understanding our angles is really important now because it's going to come into play. And I'll show you what I mean in just a second. So we have to create the depth of our letters. So if you're using your ruler, and you're going to need it, you have to decide how deep you want your letters to go. Now, if I go really, really deep, you'll notice that these lines get very skinny, very close together down there. It's a bit harder to do this perspective that low. So if you're unsure or this is your first time, I'm not going to recommend that you go that deep. I would stay a little bit higher. It's going to be a little bit easier to see what we're doing. So pick your distance, but I would stay towards the top. Hold your ruler firm and draw a very light line across all of those lines. Okay, so I've just created how deep I want my letters to go. Now some erasing. So I'm not going to erase all of this because it's going to take me too long, but I am going to erase some of the lines directly under that one I just did, just so they don't confuse me. So you can do a little bit of that erasing as well. What I like about doing this exercise as well is eventually the next project is I want you guys to be practicing how to make buildings. And there's a lot of angles in buildings, windows, doors, roofs. And knowing how to do the angles on these letters is very helpful towards that. How are you guys doing? Everyone doing okay?
Well, I was going to post a comment pretty soon and we'll verify, but I've had no comments.
Okay. All right, guys. If no one objects, I'm going to move on to actually creating the angles of our letters.
New creations, Gia says are doing good.
Okay. All right, so now comes the angle part. And if we did the little boxes last time with all the angles on them, this is where this comes in handy. So this whole bottom line here is the depth of my letters. So we'll start one letter at a time and create the shapes. So if it's a straight line, so see how the bottom of my B is straight? So the line underneath of it is straight as well. So I don't have to change that one. That one's perfect. But I do have to fix this angle. So you see this sharp angle here on the B? We have to create the angle down here as well. So this little point right here, I made my big dot so you can see it. What I'm going to do with my ruler is I'm going to line up with this angle, line it up, and you're going to scoot back with your ruler until you hit that dot that I made. Hold your ruler and make a line. And you'll see that I've just made an angle that matches this one. So I've just made an edge to my B. Now, we have to do this one as well. So this guy is also straight up and down. So he is totally vertical. So this one should be a little bit easier. So here is my point down here. This is my circle, so you guys can see it. We're gonna go to that. So use your ruler, hold it straight up and down, keep moving over until you hit the dot. Now make a straight line up. Now I've just given my B a side. Now I'm gonna make a little bit of erasing so you can see more clearly. Okay, there's my B. All right, the L is gonna be super easy.
Gia is having fun.
Oh, good. Oh, you guys, I think I might have forgotten a tiny angle. So if you guys were following along with me, do you see this point here on the L? I think it has a very teeny, tiny, skinny angle that I did not get. Do you see how itty bitty that is? But I totally forgot it, so I just put it in. Okay, so the bottom of the L, just like the B, super easy. That one's already done. The one that's gonna be tricky and kind of weird is the back of this little L, this teeny little box right back here. Oops, my line moved, hold on. This one's gonna be ridiculously tiny, but we're gonna try it. So mine turned out really, really skinny. I'm not even sure if it's showing up on the camera real well.
No, it's not.
Yeah, but it's okay. So we might have to just skip it. I don't know if you guys can even see it. But at the very bottom of my L, so see how this is the very bottom? I made a little dot. And here's the edge of my L up here. I'm gonna line it up with my ruler on this little dot. It's so skinny, like I said, I'm not even sure it's gonna show up on the camera, but it's really, really tight angle right here. And now I have too many lines. But there's the shadow. Okay. The O is next. So the O is very similar to the B on the angles. So we'll start on this side. So matching my angle, we're gonna come all the way down to here. So match the ruler to the angle of the O, drag it down until it meets that dot, and make a line. Okay. Now we're gonna do the same thing to this side that we did to this side. Oops, wrong line. All right, guys, moving on to the C. So the bottom is straight. Now from here, match my angle, hit the dot, create your line. See how they're matching the C? Now here's my next point. So this point right here is going to be for this straight line. So just like back in the B, we had a couple straight lines going on too. This is my perfectly vertical line and I have to match it over here. So use my ruler, line it up, drag it back until it hits the dot, So it's pretty skinny. Here's my angle over here. I'm going to do, use my ruler, match up the angle, scoot down, okay, we're almost done, you guys. So now the bottom of my K is going to be easy. We have a line here. There won't be a line inside here, you guys, because this is going to be the whole of the K. But there will be perspective there, so hold on. So here's the two straight lines here on the bottom of the feet of the K. So right here on the left side, there's going to be a straight line because it's the back of this K. So using my ruler, this is a perfectly vertical one again. Here's my angle. I'm going to scoot back until I hit that dot. And now I've created the back, or I should say the side of my K. Okay. Now, there is going to be angle in here. So the angle it's going to match is this right here. So here's my little dot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler, I'm going to match the angle of that leg. I'm going to come back until I hit the point. Straight back. Now I've made this sort of inside area of my K. Okay, you guys, so I'm just erasing all the extra lines that I don't need anymore. And there's the word block done in 3D, 1-point perspective. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Just going back and cleaning up some of my lines. So now you could always ink this, color this, do something fun with it after you're done. Thanks guys for joining in with me today as I test out using Facebook Live, and I didn't have any internet troubles this time, so that's good. All right, so the next 1-point perspective project is going to be involving actually doing buildings, which I think is super fun. Then you find yourself doodling buildings constantly as you understand how to do perspective. So thanks for joining me today, you guys. I will, like I said, I will post a reference to blocky letters so that you guys can try this out in your name, because I always think that that's pretty fun to do. Thanks, guys, and I will check in again with you guys later. Bye.